of the enemy at all. This is where Battle Los Angeles comes into play. It piggybacks on the truth of the 1942 incident, and of course the rumors of an LA UFO invasion. So there you go. There is some fact involved in Battle Los Angeles. Okay, now this one really kind of surprised me. I bet you can't guess what movie there is fact involved. I bet you'd never guess. Never, 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 never. Because I would never have thought this. The Blob, people, The Blob. It may be one of the most mocked horror stories in history. The Blob is actually rooted in reality. On September 26, 1950, two patrolmen in Philadelphia investigated the bizarre occurrence. As they looked into the sky, officers Joe Keenan and John Collins saw a UFO floating down to Earth. Of course, following their curiosity, they drove to the scene of the potential crime scene. There they encountered a mass of oozing, scentless, crystallized goo the length of a human being. Though Keenan and Collins referred to this stuff as purple jelly, they had no explanations for its throbbing, pulsating nature. They called for backup. The cops and their support reached into the blob to get a sense of its real nature. Within the hour, the space goo evaporated into nothing, leaving no proof it even existed. So that is where the blob came from. There was actually purple jelly goo in Philadelphia. So there you go. I never knew that. How do you like that? That was pretty cool. The next one is called the Aurora Encounter. And exactly 100 years after the incident in the heart of Texas, the Aurora Encounter landed in cinemas. It's a lesser-known sci-fi film, but its value increases with understanding of the history that inspired it. On April 17, 1897, an alien spaceship is said to have crash-landed on a farm in Aurora, Texas. 2 days later, the Dallas Morning News published a story about the sudden appearance of an airship that collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill and went to pieces with a terrific explosion. The incident allegedly claimed the life of the alien on board, whose charred and frail body is said to have been buried at the local cemetery. Though the Texas Roswell incident is rumored to be a hoax, the United States Signal Service officer in the city confirmed it, and that the alien was most probably a native of the planet Mars. So there you go. It's called the Aurora Encounter. So in case you want to look that up to watch, I will include that. Who'd have thought that the Blob was actually based on a true story? Never would I have thought that ever. How about you, Lori? Would you ever have thought that? Sometimes you think of some of these shows in films, and it's like, there's no way they came up with this on their own. There's got to be some background to this stuff. Absolutely. I really believe that. It's like they say, there's got to be some truth to legends and myths also. Where did it start from, right? Okay. While part 2 of the successful sci-fi series is soon coming to Netflix, the OA is still busy getting its audience. The extra-dimensional aspect of the show is very well handled, but as it turned out, the premise for the OA was based on a true story. Literally. Show creator and star Brit Marling had her eureka moment for the show when she overheard a lady talking about her transcendent post-death experiences. As Marling remembers, she saw from across the room, and this is in quotes, and she just seemed to be operating at a different frequency. So when she told me she had this near-death experience and described leaving her body and what she felt inside herself on the return, you understand why she felt like a person who was both apart from the world but more deeply in it. The idea of a character like that became really impeding, and thus the OA was born. So again, interesting bits and pieces of info that's coming to light here. Yeah, I would not at all. So I'm going to look up the Aurora encounter just to see. I'd like to see it just to see what it's about. But it's amazing. I mean, they just didn't pull this out of their butt, some of this. I mean, seriously. We're going to talk more about some of these TV shows here in a bit. And, how did they come up with this? Okay, the next one is District 9. I find this really interesting. Though a Hawking spacecraft never hovered over South Africa, and aliens dubbed prawns didn't run amok in Johannesburg, District 9 takes its story from real events. Director Neil Blomkamp rooted his sci-fi epic in the explosive racial conflict and apartheid government that saddled South Africa throughout the 20th century. Just as the prawns and humans were driven apart in District 9, whites and non-whites were forcibly separated in everything from property to marital relations. In 1966, the South African government officially declared Cape Town's District 6 a white-only property, relocating over 60,000 people to nearby ghettos that many called apartheid's dumping ground. As the prawns are forced to experience in the movie, the oppressed inhabitants of the Cape Town flats were unjustly deprived of countless human necessities and services. So he took a real-life human thing and put it into District 9. Hi, Jasmine. What's your favorite sci-fi movie, Jasmine? And show? Okay, so that took a human reality and put it to a sci-fi movie. Interesting. I would have never have done that, but that's exactly what they did. So, excuse me. Another movie that's up next, based on some facts, The Entity. And I remember this when it was showing that they said it was based on a true story. So, The Entity. The Haunting of Doris Bither is one for the books. It was popularized in the 1982 film directed by Sidney Bury. This supernatural movie has a strong foundation in actual events. The director and his star, Barbara Hershey, never met any of the people involved in the incident. The movie adheres closely to the account as told by Doris Bither. The final result is a movie that Martin Scorsese himself considers to be among the scariest ever made. As Doris Bither recounted, and the movie graphically depicts, a gang of invisible paranormal beings repeatedly assaulted her in her California home. And upon hiring paranormal research Carrie Gaynor and Dr. Barry Taff, photographs were taken of Doris that show an electric halo-like beam of light hovering over her. To this day, Dr. Barry Taff remains convinced that a poltergeist outbreak left Doris a victim in her own home. Do you remember that? Yes, I love that movie. Dakota Fanning was in that, was she not? The Taken. Yeah, The Entity is. Wasn't that The Taken? Wasn't Dakota Fanning in that? That was a good movie. We're going to get into some of Steven Spielberg's. Yes, miniseries. Yes, that was excellent. I really like that. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes. Yeah, that was a good miniseries. I enjoyed that one. The movie Black Mirror, Nosedive. Black Mirror has its finger on the pulse of global culture. In Nosedive, the recent Joe Wright-directed episode, we encountered a techno-dystopia where every interpersonal encounter is ranked on an all-powerful app. In this 5-star marketed comedy, ratings are everything. Users with less than 4 stars to their name are shunned to a tactically inferior world that funnily looks up at the beautiful and connected 4.9 plus celebrities. Well, yeah, that way it was long, but it was good. I remember that. That was an excellent miniseries. I enjoyed that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I would have forgotten about that one, yes. Though Tinder surely takes a cutthroat approach to dating, the Chinese government has indeed taken things to Black Mirror levels of viciousness. According to Business Insider, a social credit system is in development to rank citizens for their total value by compiling every area of a person's life into an identifying defining score. Though the plan, and now listen to this, this is freaking scary. According to Business Insider, a social credit system is in development to rank citizens for their total value by compiling every area of a person's life into an identity-defining score. Though the plan has been in development for several years, the Chinese government has already outlined the ostracizing threats to low-scoring individuals, including losing the right to run for public office, getting frisked more intensely by customs agents, and even keeping children from attending elite public schools. What do you think about that? This is crazy. So Black Mirror Nosedive is based on an actual program that the Chinese government has been developing for several years. This is freaking scary. Can you imagine if you have if you're a low-scoring individual, you could lose the right to run for public office, getting frisked more, and your child may not be able to attend elite schools. That is just crazy. They better not ever. That would be no. That's just freaking insane, if you ask me. What do you think? Yeah, the entity, but it's not basically sci-fi. Yes, it's horror, Lori, but they put it in because of the facts involved, because it was based on true incidents. So yeah, but thank you for bringing up The Taken by Steven Spielberg. Excellent. If anybody remembers that show, let me know. Excellent miniseries. Okay, what do you think of that? That's insane. That's like Big Brother watching. Don't like that idea at all. That would be, yeah, talk about death threats, huh? Next up, the Mothman prophecies, of course. From the Loch Ness Monster to Bigfoot, there are countless legends of mystical creatures inhabiting parts of the world. Most locals disregard the rumors, but the fear of the Mothman looms large over Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Lori? That's just wrong on so many levels. I can't even begin to be take your life defined by a score. Yeah, no. Yes, Mothman prophecies. It's all, like I always said, buried in myths and legends. There is a truth in there somewhere. It didn't start from nothing. So, though popularized in the 2002 Richard Gere film, The Mothman Prophecies, the real story is more chilling. On December 5th, 1967, the Silver Bridge, connecting West Virginia to Ohio, collapsed and killed 46 people. And the magnitude of this Christmas-time tragedy was doubled by the inability to explain it. While some blame the collapse on the old bridge's faulty construction, others cited the strange presence of a creepy being who visited Point Pleasant throughout 1967. And of course, the Point Pleasant Register cited countless residents who saw a man-sized bird creature, something, while other residents claimed to have encountered the Mothman, who they believed was responsible for, of course, destroying the bridge. What about it? Do you believe the Mothman prophecies? Do you believe in the Mothman? There were so many people that have seen it, it's hard to disprove, I think. What do you think? I want to know what you all think. That's why I'm here. I want to see what you think, what you believe. Mothman prophecies. You know, a lot of people saw that. So, I don't know. The next one is one of my favorite movies because of the facts behind it, and it was well done. Fire in the Sky. If you have not seen this movie, please see it.